Hello, I'm Marissa, for those that I don't know and haven't met yet. So I'm a hypnotherapist and a transformational consultant. So I work with rapid transformational therapy, quantum healing, hypnosis, which is the past lives, and somatic tantric embodiment, breathwork and sound healing. So I love to combine lots of elements with different therapies and modalities to really help to get the best results for my clients. And just a little bit about me, I love working with my clients and I love seeing the results and transformations they get. But I love even more when I've worked with them and then they're like, you know what, I don't need you anymore. I'm okay. I've been empowered to go out and have all of these new skills to be able to navigate through everyday life easier. So I'm a big believer that everything you need is already within you. All of the wisdom, the magic, the infinite potential, possibilities, everything you need is already there within you. You just need to be able to access it and to be able to tap into that, to be able to access those deeper layers of yourself, to be able to create those changes in your life. So when you think about life changes, a lot of my clients come to see me for many different reasons about what's going on with them, but ultimately that core reason is, they want to be able to live their best life or move on from where they currently are to move on to somewhere else. So if you think about everyday life, it's like, and hands up who this relates to, it's like everyday life is hectic. You've got kids, you've got work, you've got family, you've got bills, you've got increased cost of living, add on everything that you're doing, and it's like that to-do list every single day never ends. Like, how many things do you feel like you're ticking off your to-do list every day? Then it feels overwhelming because you're like, oh, I didn't get this done today, it's another thing. And you know that you want to make changes and move on from where you are, but it just all feels too hard. It's like, that's like another thing I need to be doing or adding into my life. How can I possibly add another thing in when I'm already at a point where I'm so depleted or burned out, or I'm running on empty, or I'm everything to everyone else and I'm nothing to myself. I've got nothing left to give. So I love to use different therapies and modalities and somatic embodiment work, and I'm going to give you some practical things to take away with you today, because change comes from change. So I know today you've listened to amazing people talk and you have so much information in your head and you'll retain what you need to retain. But I'm all about the action and the implementation. This is where changes come from in everyday life. So I'm going to get you to do something first of all before we kind of go through. I'm going to get you all to stand up. We're going to do 2 quick little resets. So the first one, and you're going to feel like it's, you're going to feel a little bit weird, but it's okay because no one's looking at you. You're going to be focusing all on yourself. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to do a shake off. So you're just going to shake. Give the legs a good shake. Then we're going to do some deep breaths. So just breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. You can shake your arms out if you need to. And then just standing there for a moment. Then just starting to tune in, seeing if you can feel any shifts and changes within the body, just from that quick little reset. Do you feel like you can feel more energy moving? Do you feel a little bit more alert? Do you feel like I feel like an idiot standing here doing this? And then in your own time when you're ready, you can just return to your seats. So those 2 things that we did were very mini versions, but they were both really quick somatic resets. So the somatic shaking I love, and it's one of the practices that I do pretty much most of the time throughout my normal life. And it's also something that you can use when you've gone through a stressful situation. So what happens in life is you're going through everyday life, but your nervous system is constantly being moved into a state of dysregulation. So that fight and flight response. So if you think you're having a fight with your kid in the morning, it's the first thing in the morning, it's 7 o'clock, and you're like, can I just bloody get through breakfast without you being a nightmare today, please? So you're already in your nervous system, you woke up out of bed and you're like, I'm gonna have a great day today. Feeling calm, you're feeling amazing, and then something happens and you're like, and you're feeling all of this frustration and anger move through your body, or you're just like, you know what, I just don't have the energy for this today, and you're so numbed and depleted. So if we're doing that somatic shaking, it's a great way to be able to start to move that energy through the body, but you're also being able to connect back into the body, so getting out of the head and back into the body. And the more that you're able to tune back into the body, the more that you're able to then use yourself as a guiding compass and a navigation point. So if you think your internal system, your internal state of regulation is your guiding compass. So no matter what is happening in the world around you, if you can stay anchored into you, to what feels energetically aligned for you, and to be able to come back to that state of regulation easier and faster, it's much easier to navigate through daily life. So a way of thinking about it is, it's like, if you are staying anchored in your authenticity and sovereignty of who you are as a person, your values, your belief systems, and what you need to feel regulated, calm, and balanced throughout the day, you become like an anchor within yourself. So you become like a true guiding compass north within yourself. So you're able to tell that if you go into a situation and you can start to feel that dysregulation coming on, you can navigate faster back to be able to go, okay, I'm feeling like I'm going to have an interaction with somebody here. It's going to stress me out. What can I do in this moment to be able to make this easier and to not feel so stressed? So it could be doing like a nice little breathing technique. It could be a mantra that you repeat to yourself. Whatever it is that you need to use to help you in that moment in time return to that state of regulation. So again, reconnecting back to you, because you know you better than anybody else. Nobody will ever know you like you, right? So when you can always return to that place of authenticity and sovereignty, then you become, it's almost like the eye in the cyclone, right? So you can have chaos happening around you, but because you're so anchored and firm within yourself and your state of regulation, that it doesn't matter what chaos is happening around you. It doesn't matter what's happening with your husband, or the traffic, or your job, or in the current world state. None of that matters, because you're so anchored within you and your state of regulation and how to return back to that state of regulation easier and faster, that it honestly doesn't matter what's happening around you. So a little formula that I love, I've got a life formula. I feel like I have like make change easy, and it's like, how can I like make change easy? It's like, those people are like, biohack your life. It's like, I feel like I've done that with every part of my life. Like, how can I make my life easier? Because it's all about how can you get from where you are to where you want to be in the fastest amount of time and the easiest way possible. Because you know what, like, life is short, and I don't have a lot of time to spend having to figure out how to do things, or to have a long way, like a long journey to go through to get to where I want to go. I want to make it as easy as possible, and I want to have fun along the way, because that's what life is about, right? So I've got a little formula for myself, for my life. And this is also what I use to kind of return back to my guiding compass and to my anchor within myself. So if I ever feel like I'm going through daily life and things are starting to happen, it's like, and I'm feeling unbalanced within myself, I'm like, okay, where's my life formula? Where's my guiding compass? Where's my map navigation of what I need to do in my life? So for me, I've got grounding, centering, and integration. And that's pretty much how I live my life. I feel like my life is intentional in everything I do. Like, somebody asked me the other day who my favorite singer was, and I was like, I actually don't know. I listen to ceremonial music like all the time. Like, I feel like I'm perpetually in a state of ceremony in everything I do in my daily life, because everything I do is so intentional, because it's that energetic vibration and frequency match. So it's like, if I want to live a certain way and achieve certain things in my life, I need to be that vibrational frequency to get there. And how do I get there? Well, I need to have a clear map of how to get there, right? So my life formula for me is grounding, centering, and integration. So I might start off my day. So first of all, I want to ground into the day. I want to ground into me and into that present moment. So I normally start off with a meditation. And then it's like, how can I bring grounding and like mindfulness, that catchphrase word, but how can I bring that into everyday life? Because I don't have hours to sit in meditation all day. And I'm not a yogi out in a cave in Tibet that I can't just, sit and meditate for hours. So it's like, how can I make change easy and bring my life formula into everything I'm already doing? So it could be if I'm washing the dishes, it's like, how can you bring mindfulness into the mundaneness of everyday life? Yogis still have to eat and wash dishes. They still have to wash their clothes, right? You're not immune from the humanness of life. So it's like, how can you bring a different level of intention and awareness into what you're doing in everyday life? So it could be if you're washing the dishes. Again, chaos is happening, kids are running amok, the TV's blaring, your husband's talking about whatever, you don't even know what he's talking about anymore because he's been going on for hours, whatever it is, right? You've got work emails bouncing off on your phone, whatever it is. But it's like, in that moment, how can you focus into that moment and bring that bliss and mindfulness and that state of intention into that? So it could be if you're washing the dishes, like, can you feel the temperature of the water? Is it too hot, too cold? Can you feel the bubbles of the soap powder popping and crackling on your skin? Can you smell the scent of the dishwashing liquid? If you think about how often you're doing things throughout everyday life, but you're just doing them, you're just rushing through them, you can still be doing them, but it's like, how can you bring a different level of intention and vibrational frequency to what you're already doing? So the work I do, a lot of people come to me, it's like they've seen psychologists, counselors, it's like I'm the last fix. It's like hypnotherapy, it's a bit weird. I think you're gonna make me clap like a chicken, but I tried everything. I might as well give this a go. So, it's like, how can you make change easy? And people come to me and they're like, they have all of these things, they want this quick fix, but it's like, there's no magic pill. It doesn't come from like you do one thing and you're done. There's no one and done. And healing isn't a linear journey. It's so variable for everybody, right? And big change in life comes from these micro shifts and these daily habitual layer stacking of changes over time. And this is where true change and true transformation comes from. It doesn't come from a big, quick magic fix. It comes from these little daily habitual layer stacking micro shifts that you're making that add up to big changes over time. So it's like when you think about change, to take out that overwhelm, how can you make change easy in your life? How can you do what you're already doing, but do it differently with a different intention to get a different outcome? So I've got grounding, so I love meditation, really bringing into that present moment, and then centering. So centering back into me, back into alignment with myself. So then it's like, if I'm eating something that doesn't feel good, can I feel that shift happening straight away? Or if I'm interacting with somebody and it's feeling a bit whatever, can I change that interaction with somebody? Or centering into the moment, it's like, if I'm stuck in peak hour traffic, instead of getting angry because someone's just cut me off and then they flipped me off, it's like, how can I bring bliss into this moment? I can wish them well. And then it's like, I'm stuck in peak hour traffic, but you know what? Now I get to listen to another podcast episode. It's like, how can you change what you're already doing in your everyday life to get a different result and a different outcome? And then integration, because action is where the magic is. Action and the implementation and the doing work is where the work comes in. You can't go, it's like you go to the gym, right? You can't go to the gym once and then think that you're gonna have an amazing body. Or you can't go and buy the ingredients for the salad and have them sitting in the fridge and then think you're gonna get healthy by not actually making the salad and eating it. It's the action and the implementation that brings about these results and these changes. So what I want you guys to do is we're going to create something together today that you can take away. You might want to kind of like shift and change it over time, but I really want you guys to be able to take away a formula for you to create your own life formula. So how can you make little shifts and changes in your current day life to be able to bring about different changes in whatever you want to work on? So if you guys want to pull out your phones and into your notes app, and I'm going to give you some questions to write down. And then we may not answer all of these today, but this is something that you can go and sit with. You might want to maybe involve your family or your partner as well, like maybe get your children to create a life formula or help them create a formula for their life, because it's something that is, like, for me, has been such a game changer. And when I think about like the shifts and changes I've had in my life in a short amount of time, it's honestly come through having a consistent formula and a way of showing up every single day in daily life that honestly has transformed the changes. So the first question that I want you to write down is, think about how you want to be living your life. So imagine that, it's like that $1 million question, right? Like, imagine if you won the lotto and you never had to work again. Like, what would your life look like? And dream big, because time is a human construct. Like, when you start working in other realms and like working with this infinite potential and possibility within yourself, there is nothing that is endless and limited. So the first one, think about how you want to be living your life. And then think about, so number 2, what values are important to you? So in terms of values, I think of, like there's obviously like the standard ones, like, honesty, sincerity, integrity, trust, authenticity, sovereignty. So 2 big ones, I guess, for me is like authenticity and sovereignty. So for me, I always want to live in alignment with my sovereignty. So it doesn't matter what's happening around in the world, I'm very anchored in to my beliefs about what is right for my perception of the world that I want to live in. And I what you perceive, you receive, right? So what you're perceiving is happening in the world around you is co-creating the world that you're experiencing through a daily life. So what values do you want to be living in your daily life? And how do you want the people around you to be showing up to you? Because the more that you're showing up that way for you, the easier it is for other people to be that mirror to shine back to you. Because everyone's a mirror, right? Like, have you ever gone through something and you've worked through something and then your friend goes through it and you're like, oh my God, that just happened to me, like last week. And then I can tell you what I did to get through that. So people are always going to be a mirror. The next one is, what is your life's mission and purpose? So if you think, a lot of people that I work with, one of the burning questions that everybody has is, what is my life purpose? Like, what is the meaning of life? Again, $1 million question, right? Like, why are we here? Why are we doing this? What is the point of this? I could go on about that for hours. It's like a whole other topic. But think about like what is important to you and what's your legacy? Like, what's the impact that you want to leave on the world? But also, I think it's like that energetic frequency. Like, what do you want to be leaving when you're leaving a room or an environment or an interaction with a person? Do you want to leave them feeling better than when you left than when you went in? Or, how do you want to make people feel when they're in that energy and in that environment with you? And then, the work that you want to do as well, like what is important to you? Do you want to be involved with charity work or, whatever's important for you? The next one, so it kind of ties in with this one, is what do you want your legacy to be? So I think as well, like, I guess with some of the work I do, especially with the past lives, it's like death is death, but it's not death, right? So it's like death in this world is death, but it's like when you think about when you leave and people will remember you, how will people remember you? What are the words they're going to say about you? And then I think, okay, what words do I want people to say about me when I'm not here? Again, it's like that mantra. So it's like, for me, it's like inspire, success, elevate. Like, I love to inspire people to live a better life and to elevate their life and elevate their consciousness. And I would hope that when people are talking about me as my legacy, they were some of the words that they would use. So it's like, how can you infuse that into your daily life? And then what does your dream life look like? So imagine you woke up every single day and you could live a life of bliss. And again, it's that mundaneness. You could be a millionaire, but the dishes still need to be done. The washing still needs to be done. The bed still needs to be made. You might have someone else to do it, but you're still going to get out of bed and the bed's going to be unmade and you're going to turn around and look at it. Like, there's still the realities of everyday life, right? So it's like, what does your dream life look like? And it could just be more time with your family, or it could be like family holidays or travel or whatever it looks like for you, and it's going to look very different for everybody. And then think about the moment you open your eyes until you go to bed and plan out your ideal day. So it could be you wake up, you have a family breakfast, or you eat a healthy meal. And even if it doesn't feel real and it feels so far away from now, like even if it feels so foreign, it's okay. Because the more that you can dream it and get clear on those visions, the easier it is to pull it into your reality. I think there was like a Wayne Dwyer quote about that, I can't remember it, but it was like, if you can dream it, you can envision it, like you can live it, right? Because you created those visions, it's much easier to move into that vibrational frequency of what you want. But first you need to get clear on what you want. So if you can start working through those questions and then come up with how you want to be living your life, it's much easier to bring that intention into your everyday life. So then when you're doing the dishes, instead of being like, oh, bloody hell, it's so annoying having to do the dishes, you can have a different intention. You can be like, but you know what, it was so beautiful to sit down with the family. They drove me crazy for half an hour, but at least we were all together, Or it could be, I just cooked an amazing meal. Like, I'm so fortunate that I was able to buy the food for these ingredients that I wanted to buy to make this meal. It could just be like little shifts and changes and awareness like that. Does anybody have any questions about that? I feel like I've just like thrown a whole heap of stuff at you.
You want me to start?
In a second. And so in your bags as well, there's a little, I'll grab a flyer for you as well, but there's a flyer in there with a QR code for a 5 Days to Freedom course. And in that, you've got different tools and techniques that you can move through for the next 5 days. So I highly recommend jumping onto that. It doesn't cost anything. You get, unlimited access to it. You can go back to it anytime. But that will be a good thing for you to work through if you're feeling like you're getting stuck on creating your life formula. Like if you're feeling like, I actually really don't know who I am or what I want, which is also so totally normal and totally common for so many people. So that's a great way to kind of work through the process of becoming clearer with you, within you, and who you are. And it's easier then for you to create a formula for your life. Amazing. Any questions? Okay.